Good morning everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video going to be sharing with you my thoughts on patch 3.01. This is the patch that is adding Alexander Normal into Final Fantasy XIV, as well as adding in a few changes, a few bug fixes we knew were coming, but we've got the patch notes to actually go over those, so what do you say we actually scroll down and get into them? Figured I'd post this video before actually stepping foot into Alexander Normal myself, still waiting on the servers to come back up. But anyway, let's just get into it. So, new Chronicles of a New Era quest. This would be the Alexander quest. It's called Disarmed. You get it in Idleshire from Slowfix at X7Y6. So when you finish the main story, this is where you'll go in order to unlock Alexander Normal. Rewards for certain quests have been adjusted. Okay. New fates have been added. Okay. I don't know if these are like Coral Regina or Odin-esque fates, or if these are just like, I don't know, random fates. I don't know what they're doing, because everyone's a Northern Thanalan anyways. What's the point of adding new fates unless they're like really high level? They buffed the amount of points rewarded from NPCs in Triple Triad tournaments. So if you've been fighting Triple Triad NPCs in the tournaments, then you'll get more points from now on. So the new raid, Alexander Gordius. This is the normal difficulty. The savage difficulty will be added 2 weeks from today, from this video being posted on YouTube, because this is the day that Alexander Normal comes out. Now, a lot of questions people had. Would you be able to solo queue into it via the Duty Finder? Yes, you can. No, I don't know why Bismarck and Ravana can't do that when Alexander Normal can. I have no explanation for that. Average item level 170 or above to enter, so at least a full set of unupgraded law gear, and of course you're going to need a weapon too, because you can't have 2 of the rings unless you're cheating. But yeah, 8 players, 90 minutes per turn. Now let's be clear, there are 4 turns in Alexander, or 4 gears, whatever you want to call them. So we'll go into what each of those are called a little bit later, and as well as the rewards, which we're going to get into right now. So it's been no secret for some time now that Alexander is going to work more like Crystal Tower with a weekly loot lockout, instead of you can do it once and then never again for the rest of the week. So you can farm each of the Alexander gears over and over again until you get the piece of loot that you want. However, Alexander does not drop gear inside of the raid anymore. Instead, each boss will reward tokens, and you can win 1 token per turn per week. So since there's 4 Alexander turns, you can win 1 token from turn 1, 1 from 2, 1 from 3, and 1 from 4. Then you can go trade these tokens in for items back in Idleshire at Sabina, the NPC. I think that's the one by Rowena's tent. Now, each different item corresponds to a different piece of armor that you can win. 2 lenses makes a headpiece, 4 shafts makes a body piece, 2 cranks makes hands, 1 chain equals waist, 4 springs equals legs, 2 pedals equals feet, and 1 bolt is any of the accessories. So, if you want to spend this entire first week getting a shaft from each turn, then you can get a body piece this week. If you want to get your head and your hands this week, let's say it's the first week and you beat all 4 of them, you could go get 2 lenses and 2 cranks. If you want to just get all of the accessories possible, then you could just get 4 bolts this week and completely fill out the right side of your character sheet with the accessories. Of course, you can't get a second ring, so it would really just be every piece. Now, you'll notice there are no weapons on that list. We'll get into that in a little bit. Anyway, before we get into that, changes to Bard and Machinist. That's right. They heard you. They're making changes. I don't want to say they're flat out buffs, because I haven't sat here and done the math, and I don't want to sit here and just say, oh, it's a buff, it's crazy, you know, it's just a drawback. I'm just going to say they're making changes. Of course, Wanderer's Minuet and Gauss Barrel at the top. Wanderer's Minuet, ignore the action category, has been changed. That's irrelevant. Damage has been increased on Wanderer's Minuet from 20% to 30%. Its cast time was removed entirely, which I approve of. And its recast time was increased from 2.5 seconds to 15 seconds. That means if you were to like activate it and then like turn it off within like 15 seconds, you wouldn't be able to reactivate it. You'll have to wait until that 15-second window is up. Now, because they added 10% more damage onto Wanderer's Minuet, which will affect Straight Shot, Wind Bite, Venomous Bite, all of your abilities, they needed to draw back a power in a few places. So, Imperial Arrow had its potency reduced by 20, went from 240 to 220. Sidewinder had its potency reduced down to 100. Its potency with just 1 dot on is now 175, and its potency with 2 dots on is now 250. So it lost its scaling pretty much. It used to start at 150 and go up by 100 potency for each dot that was applied, Venomous Bite, Wind Bite being the only 2. Now it starts at 100 and only goes up by 75. It's a pretty big hit to potency, so I'm curious to see how it ends up working out. I have a feeling the Minuet change will in the end be a buff, but I'm curious to see what people end up thinking about these changes. Machinist, same deal with Gauss Barrel. Damage increased to 30%, cast time removed, and the recast time increased to 15 seconds. The potency on Gauss Round was reduced from 200 to 180, and Ricochet had its area attack reduced from 300 to 200. So some buffs to buffs to the major abilities that they really want to push people to be using, but some nerfs to the abilities that they get in, you know, at those later levels. So curious to see what it ends up working out to, what the changes, how they end up actually affecting the performance of the job, and especially now with Alexander coming out, I want to see how these jobs function on those fights with Wanderer's Minuet and Gauss Barrel. Some of the new gear. So, Alexander normal gear, item level 190, equivalent to that of Ravana Extreme. I wonder if that means they're equivalent in difficulty, in which case, yeah. Alexander normal is going to get beat today, regardless. Like, I don't know how much time I'm spending in there, but I know Alexander normal is going to get beat today. Like, it's going to happen. That being said, you'll notice there are no weapons on the list again. Seems that those Alexander weapons are from Savage only. Either that or they just omitted putting them here, and they're actually going to drop from the final gear or turn of Alexander. No weapons. Very, very interesting to see that they decided to go with the Savage. I mean, they needed to motivate people to go to Savage. A weapon is motivation to go to Savage. Granted, the Savage gear will probably be item level like 210, and then there's Esoteric's gear at the time, and the weapons will probably be 215 or something like that. I don't know, but either way. There's new minions, tables, and furnishings. These are all crafted with two of the items that you can get from Alexander, the Gordian gear and the Gobwalker shielding. So these are going to be used in these crafting recipes. And then these are the tokens that we were talking about before for Alexander normal, the ones that actually let you go trade them in for gear. Gordian Bureau, crafted by carpenters, needs 2 Gordian gears and a bunch of other items. The steam-powered Gobwalker, which is a new minion, by the way, that is going to need some shieldings. It's going to need a stuffed goblin, some glazed nuts, Dawnborn, Aether Sand, whatever. And the Gordian chair is going to need a gear and a bunch of other stuff here. Hey, Allegan Catalyst, still being relevant, I see. Still being relevant. And then they added a bunch of achievements. So, Awake the Metal, complete the quest Enigma. I have a feeling that's supposed to... You know how they said they always hide the names of quests for spoiler reasons? I have a feeling that was supposed to be one of the quests that was hidden for spoiler reasons, but they ended up putting it in the achievement section. So mapping the realm Alexander 1, 2, and 3. So we have the Fist of the Father, the Cuff of the Father, and the Arm of the Father. Got to remember, we're walking up Alexander's arm here. And you'll notice that there's no fourth one. The fourth one doesn't have a mapping achievement. It's just a boss encounter, but it seems like the first 3 will actually have some walking involved. I guess that's the best way I can put it. And then, of course, you have the achievement for finishing all 4 turns 1, 5, and 10 times. I'm assuming this is literally just the 4th turn X amount of times, considering there's no weekly lockout. It's just a weekly loot lockout. But whatever. We'll see what that ends up meaning if I can just go beat the 4th turn 10 times in a row to go get this achievement. New music has been added. Adjustments have been made to the Mac version that were affecting performance. The size of the comment field has been increased when selecting refer to comment as your object. I guess that's because they still haven't figured out how to add Ravana Extreme and Bismarck Extreme into the party finder. The folder's different now for screenshots on the Mac version, and it now defaults to windowed in the Mac version. 2 new minions in the optional item store, Alice and Tataru. I already know I'm going to have to do some giveaways for those because people are going to be like, I want a little Tataru. And I'm going to be like, okay, all right, I understand. And then they fixed a bunch of bugs. For example, Thok Extreme, they just fixed all the bugs. You know, there's going to be more than one wall waiting for you now at the end of the halfway point. Benediction apparently wasn't removing the Dark Knight Walking Dead effect if they had it in Ravana Extreme. Ethereal Manipulation had a bug. World of Darkness, Samal had a bug. Monsters can be targeted occasionally in level 60 main story quest. The Dark Knight action, Dark Arts, which was affecting Abyssal Drain and Dark Passenger, that has been fixed. I don't like that I don't see the mention of Dark Side. Oh, that was the issue I wanted them to fix so much more. The issue where... There's an issue right now with Dark Knight where your MP drains faster if you have regen or poison effects on you while Dark Side is active. Some people have said they think it was fixed in like a ninja patch. I did a test on it like 2 days ago, and it was still bad. You can get past it though. If you're playing Dark Knight correctly, you can totally overcome that bug. But they should probably fix that. Yeah. then some other things. Wanderer's Pain had some changes, an issue with auto walking, and then a bunch of other, I mean, we're not going to go through all this stuff. Some of it's crafting, some of it's gathering, some of it's DirectX 11, so it's a bunch of stuff. Sound effects from the following actions. You guys won. Everyone's like, well, I can't invite a monk to this party finder group because I don't want to hear them do meditation and form shift over and over again. Don't worry, they apparently adjusted the audio for them so it won't be as annoying to people. Oh, and in case you're wondering how I know there's a 4th turn to Alexander, it's because of the known issues. Cuff of the Father and Arm of the Father have problems. Burden of the Father is the final one. I mean, it's easy to determine that. Arm, Cuff, and Fist are 1, 2, and 3, and then the Burden of the Father will be Gear 4. So anyway, that's patch 3.01. Let me know what you think of the item level 90, of the omission of weapons from Alexander Normal, the changes to Bard and Machinist, the token system for Alexander, and how you're doing in Alexander yourself when you see this video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned because we will be having Alexander Normal guides coming out in the next week. I will see you guys the next time I make a video, which will probably be tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be tomorrow. Okay, anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, take care.